Hey, what's up? It's Baz the Magician with a very interesting video. As you can tell by the title, I am going to teach you how to do 2 card tricks in this video. So the video might be a little long, but bear with me. There's some background information you need to know about why I do this, because I always say I never make tutorial videos, because that's true. However, these are things I teach in my show, and I do this for several reasons. One, it allows you to connect with the audience members better. 2, they're very basic, very beginner tricks that anybody can do, which is the point. And third, and most importantly, when people start talking to me about magic during my shows, they always think that magic has something flashy or there's a lot of skill. There is a lot of skill involved, but sometimes magic is very basic, and sometimes the simplest things actually fool people. So this is why I teach this, to show that magic doesn't always have fast hands. You could be doing some magic has some really dumb moves in it. So I present to you these 2 card tricks. One of them requires a specific move, and the other requires no skill. It's self-working. So let me start with a trick that uses 4 aces. Now you can use any 4 cards for this. I just happen to use aces because they identify, or people identify with them a lot easier, or they know them. These are the cards that are basically known the most. Now this card trick involves 16 cards. Now I'm going to do this trick for you twice. Then I'm going to show you how it's done. And the reason why I'm going to do this twice is because once I show you how it's done, you're going to say somebody's going to catch on to how that's done. Now, if you do catch on to how this is done while I'm doing it, great. But if you don't, what's going to happen may shock you. So this starts off with 4 aces and 12 of the random cards, so it's a total of 16 altogether. And what I'm doing is I'm placing an ace, so when I turn all the packets over, every 4th card is an ace. And I'm going to drop them on top of one another, so you know that there's no funny business, and I didn't shuffle them together. So every 4th card is an ace. 1, 2, 3, ace. 1, 2, 3, ace. 1, 2, 3, ace. 1, 2, 3, ace. And if you notice, I pulled them all underneath one another, so I wasn't shuffling them. So if I have every 4th card as an ace, if I go 1, 2, 3, what's this card right here, you're going to say? You're going to say it's an ace, which is correct. So now I just continue counting. 1, 2, 3, and you can count with me. Ace. 1, 2, 3, ace. 1, 2, 3, ace. Now I can get rid of these 2 piles because they don't contain aces. And I'm going to flip over the top, these cards at the bottom of the piles here. And this pile has the aces and this pile has the regular cards. But you know what happens when I swap them? These become regular cards and these become the aces. They actually switch places. Let me show you that again. This time I'm going to speed up the process. I'm going to put the aces face down. And I'm just going to put 3 cards on top of each ace. So that way, every 4th card is an ace. I don't have to turn them over. They're already done. Ace. Ace. Right now I'm just squaring the cards off, so nothing's out of order. Ace. And again, I'm going to drop them on top of one another. So every 4th card from the top is an ace. Starting here. 1, 2, 3, ace. 1, 2, 3, ace. 1, 2, 3, ace. 1, 2, 3, ace. And again, I'm going to count out. 1, 2, 3. What's that card right there? You can count with me. It's an ace. All right. 1, 2, 3, ace. Actually, I'm going to do this one-handed now. 1, 2, 3, ace. 1, 2, 3, ace. Once again, these contain regular cards. This also contains regular cards. However, instead of swapping the 2 cards here, I'm going to swap the piles. I'm going to do this one-handed. I'm going to place those there and those there. And the reason why I did that is because I want the aces back in their original position. Okay, for those of you that actually caught that, congratulations. It's a very sneaky move, but it's done right out in the open, and it's done very deliberately. For those of you that don't know, now here is how I did this. So What I'm doing is, for the purposes of this trick, is to drill in your head that every fourth card is an ace. That's why I continually say this. And for purposes of teaching this, I'm just going to speed this up. It is true that every fourth card's an ace, so if you think I'm doing something here, you're wrong. Again, the purpose of dropping them on top of one another, and the way I'm counting them, one underneath the other, is to prove I'm not shuffling them. Because if I did this, separated them, I could have been putting them back in any order. So you want to make sure that you're keeping them all the exact same way. And if somebody wants to hold it and check it out, they can. Now, here is where it gets tricky. Don't pay attention to the cards that are on the table. Pay attention to what I'm doing with my hand and dealing. Now, if you notice, when I did 1, 2, 3, I stopped counting here and did this. So the procedure is 1, 2, 3. You let them say ace, which it is. But when I'm putting these out, I don't stop dealing. So when you're dealing, you're going to keep doing this. Watch what I do with the card that I take off the top of the deck after the last ace. So we go 1, 2, 3. I take this card, I point to it as I'm constantly dealing, and I take it off the top of the deck, and I point to this. What's this card right here? And I nonchalantly put it on the bottom of the deck. That one move, after you show it, that one move changes the position of every card into the third card. So again, in case you're wondering, 1, 2, 3. Watch that card right there. So these are aces and you show it. And then you proceed to go through the entire thing, making sure they go ace, 2, 3, ace, 1, 2, 3, ace. Then, since these don't have aces in them, since the original bottom card of each pile, one was regular and one was an ace, that's fine. But remember, it was changed the position of every third card. So when these are actually regular cards, because again, all the aces wind up in this pile. So therefore, you can kind of do whatever you want. And like I said, for those of you that didn't catch it the second time, that's why I showed you how it was done. Because once I showed you this, you're going to say somebody's going to catch that. And if you didn't, clearly not. So that's the point of the trick. Again, Magic doesn't always have anything flashy or very fancy or anything. It has to do with kind of misdirection, and some of these moves are really ridiculous. They're done right in front of you, you don't even see it. Okay, now on for card trick 2. This is an old concept that I still use currently in my shows to this day, and it's a very interesting, powerful effect. It involves me getting a card out of this deck that they can shuffle. Once they shuffle it, they keep the cards to their backs toward them, and only I can see the faces. And what they're going to wind up doing is they go through the deck one at a time, from the top down, and then I stop and have them hand me a card. They don't see it, and I place it face down on the table. So I'm just going to go through, and I'm going to pick out a card here that if you were holding this, this is what you would see, and I would see the cards. So I'm just going to go through, and I'm going to pick a card. I'm going to have them stop. They would just go through the deck, keeping it in order, just like this, and I would have them hand me a card. They would hand it to me. So, I don't know why where is this thing? All right. So I would have them just say, for example, it was here. I would have them pull this out and put it face down. They don't know what that is, and neither do you. All right. So now I would have them count 5 cards in a pile face down off the top of the deck. Then I would have them either shuffle it or do what they want, or they can pick any 5 cards out and put them down again. So basically, you're going to wind up doing this 4 times, so you have a total of 20 cards. So there's 5. Let's say they shuffle the deck. 5 more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's 10. Shuffle it again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then they can just go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So there's a total of 20 cards here and a mystery card. What I have them do now is I have them alternate piles until they have 2 piles of 10 cards each. So there we go, 1, 2, 3, or I don't have to count them, but they're just alternating them back and forth until there's 2 piles of 10. Now, before I go on any further, I'm going to designate one of these piles a value pile and the other pile a suit pile. So I would have them point, which pile do you want me to use first? So let's say they pointed here. I said, okay, we're only going to concentrate on the suit in this pile. We're forgetting about the number. If it's a king or queen, doesn't matter. It's just a suit. So we only need the diamond, the club, the heart, or the spade. So that's the suit pile. this will be the value pile. So it doesn't matter what the suit is, it only matters the value. So if it's a K, it's a king. And if it's a queen, it's a queen. It's 10, it's 10. 2, it's a 2. So we don't care about the suit. So basically what we're doing is we're combining the value of this pile with the suit of this pile to come up with a card. So for example, if there was a 2 at the top of this pile, that would be a 2. And if there was a diamond in this pile, it would be the diamond. So you're combining the cards to make a card. So I would have them point to a pile, and let's say they pointed to this one. Before I flipped it over, I says, okay, whatever the value here is, we're going to get stuck with. So I flip it over, and it happens to be a king. Now, they would try to go king of spades. I says, no, we don't need the spade. We just need the value. So the king. That means this pile would be the suit pile, which in this case is a heart. So the card would be the king of hearts, which is a card you handed me. Okay, so this trick is very, very easy. As you can see, it's a very powerful impact. But the secret to this is very, very simple. Now, there's a couple of snags you may run into this because they can shuffle the deck. You don't even really touch the deck for this at all. This is what's called self-working. Now, there is a procedure that I'm using, and you can do the procedure however you want. Now, this procedure is after they shuffle the deck, and they have the cards so they can't see the faces, I'm combining the value. I'm using this order. I'm combining the value of the top card with the suit of the second card. So I'm looking for the Queen of Hearts. Now you can do it with the suit first and then the value. That's up to you, however you got to remember it. So I usually remember it value suit. But again, if you wanted to do suit and value, you could do the King of Clubs. It doesn't matter. Now, what happens here is if you have 2 hearts on the top of the deck or 2 of the same suit, you can't do that. Or if you have 2 of the same value, such as, let's say you had 2 kings here, a King of Clubs and a King of Hearts, you still can't do this. So if it happens to come to this specific situation in either one, tell them to shuffle the deck again. I've actually had to do this thing. I had to have somebody shuffle the deck, and I kid you not, 8 or 9 times. And I at that point said, man, he's horrible at shuffling. And so I make something up that they can't see. It's like all the aces are still together. It's like, are you a card shark? Are you gambling? I don't trust you. Do you need him to shuffle it? So I make some joke. But you're basically doing that because you can't have them know what you're doing. So in this particular case, once you get 2 cards opposite, I'm going to look for the Queen of Diamonds. So when I find that, they're obviously, again, there's a like this, so you can't see what what's being handed. They can't see what's being handed to you, sorry. I'm again looking for the Queen of Diamonds. And that's when I have them hand it to me. Let's see, where is it? Sorry about this. Give me a second. All right. So it happens to be here. So I'm combining the value with this, with the suit of this, and it just comes up with this. Again, they hand it to you. As long as this is not out of order, you just put it down. That is the Queen of Diamonds, by the way. So the reason that you pick out 5 cards off the top of the deck is because when you put them down, the top card is going on the bottom. As long as the top 2 cards are not out of order, it doesn't matter, because what you're doing is you're putting the deck back together in the original order. You're just doing it through a series of cards to kind of detract from it. Having to pick the 20 cards isn't necessary. It's just something I choose to do. You can do it with 10 cards. As long as the top 2 cards of the deck were dealt in the order or they're not disturbed, this will always be correct. So let me get out 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now, you could do it with any number. The thing here is you want it an equal amount, so you always have the top card being placed in the opposite side of the second card. So, for example, when I place these down, what's going to wind up happening is this is going to wind up back on the top, and so is this. So I'll give you an example. I'm going to leave these out so you can see. 1. Remember, this is the original top card. This is the original suit. Okay? I'm going to leave these up so you can see what's going on. When they're dealing them, okay, I'm going to leave these so you can see. When they're alternating the pile, as long as you remember where the last card was dealt, so in this case it was here. It could be dealt here if they wanted to do it this way. As long as you remember the top card, where the last card was dealt, that's the original top card. These are the original top 2 cards. So since I know the first card dealt is going to be the last card placed down, I know that that's the value. This is the value. This is the Queen. this is the suit. So I can label it ahead of time saying, okay, this is the value pile. We're going to forget about the suit. And then you basically make sure that they fully understand what's going on. So this will go over some people's heads, so don't worry about it. So again, you want to make sure that whatever card is dealt last is the card you started with, because that's the original top card of the deck. So what happens is, I know that this is the top card of the deck. If these were reversed, it wouldn't matter. I would still know that. I would just look at where they placed the last card. So in this particular case, let's say they did it this way. They were alternating. So what happens is, again, I could go either way. I would say, okay, you know, we're going to make one of these a suit pile, one of these a value. I'd go through all that, and then I have them point to which one they want me to use first. And that way, whatever one they point to, I look, okay, this one, oh, that's a suit. Or that one, that's the value. I hope you're following this. So what happens here is, this is the, whatever they point to, again, they're doing the work, so they're like, wow. Now I say, okay, this is the value pile, and this is the suit pile. And I go through all that motions. And then I say, okay, which pile do you want to use first? So once they point to something, let's say they did this, say, okay, remember, this is just the value. So whatever the suit is, the diamond, the club, the heart of the spades, we stick up with, or we get stuck with. What is that? Diamond. And then I say, okay, that leaves the value pile, so we're going to stuck with whatever this is flipped over is it. Queen, diamonds. That's it. Simple as that. And that's how they get the card. So there were 2 card tricks I hope you like. By the way, I'm not on camera, my face, because my hair is a complete mess and I haven't shaved for like 4 days. So I just wanted to pawn those 2 off to you. Again, I normally don't make tutorials videos, but I figured you'd appreciate this. And that's it. So, till next time, Spaz the Magician signing out. Have a good one. Take care.